Hey, MiWilderness again. I think it's important, if you're somebody that goes out into the wilderness and you are relying on the ability to make your own fires, that you carry man-made fire starting materials like a lighter or a ferro rod or mesh metal rod or what have you, and man-made fire starting materials like cotton balls or char cloth. But also I feel a little more comfortable if I have the ability to find natural materials that I can use that work equally well, or possibly in some cases even better than man-made materials, and becoming familiar with what resources are available in the area that you plan on going to or that you are from is a big bonus. I've spent quite a while now going over, experimenting with lots of different natural fire starting materials. I don't have a natural method of a fire starter down yet. I can't do the bow drill. I can't spark two rocks together and make fire. Maybe I will be one day, but not today. But I do have the ability to get natural materials and process them, or whatever I may need to do to make them work. And I've came up with a few that are my favorites, and I'm gonna go over them right now. Well, some of these aren't my favorites, but they are ones that I thought I'd show. This is common milkweed cordage. I made this last winter from an old dead milkweed stalk. It's very thin diameter cordage, and it's quite strong. It'd probably make good fishing line. But I figured I'd try it as a tinder and see how it does. Not so hot. But one that I did find work good is dogbane cordage. This is about 15 feet that I made. It's another good strong cordage and is resistant to water and rot. Hold on a minute. I'm going to fray that end out a little bit to get it started, hopefully. There we go. This has been sitting out and soaking up humidity. I did it earlier and it worked first try. But the dogbane cordage will sit and smolder, and it burns like a wick. It'll burn for a long time. This 1 or 1.5 inch piece will burn for a real long time, which gives you plenty of time to get it into a nest and blow it to flame. But you don't even have to blow on that. It'll just burn and burn and burn like a wick. I'm gonna actually set that away because it will keep burning and it'll burn all my other tinders up. One of my favorites for blowing a tinder nest aflame is Chaga tinder fungus. I think the Latin name is Inonotus obliquus or something like that. You can buy this online, and I mean, in my opinion, I'd much rather pay somebody to give me some tinder fungus than a mag bar. It pretty much just takes one spark and it'll sit there and burn like incense. The harder it is, there's varying degrees of hardness of the tinder fungus. The darker it is, the harder it is. The lighter color it is, the softer it is. And the harder stuff is harder to ignite, but it will burn much longer. The softer stuff ignites real easy, but it'll get consumed a lot quicker. I can't find tinder fungus where I live. It grows up in the northern part of Michigan, and that's where I harvested this from, but it doesn't grow around here. So that got me thinking I need to find a local material that works just as good as tinder fungus, but can be found locally. And that's what got me to try the dog bane, because this grows very abundantly all across North America. And it works almost equally as well as the tinder fungus. But my all-time favorite natural tinder, my all-time favorite tinder, period, is very fine birch bark. White birch or paper birch works really good. But this, I believe, is yellow birch. That's what we have locally. We don't have a lot of white birch. But I found this other day on a young tree. It curls off. The bark kind of curls up, and you can pull those curls off without damaging the tree if you're careful. And you can gather up a whole bunch. And I've taken and stuffed this pill bottle completely chock full of it. There's enough birch bark in this pill bottle for me to start many, many, many fires. And the nice thing about birch bark, if you have thin birch bark, thick stuff you might not have this success with, but the thin stuff you will. It just lights up to flame, and it burns for quite a bit. It's somewhat weather resistant too, because there's a lot of oils in there. This is a piece of cedar bark. I probably won't be able to get it going. I don't have any kindling set up to start a fire. But if I did, I would easily be able to get that to light. I mean, that's been burning for a good long time, and that was maybe a tablespoon's worth of birch bark compacted. This is a pretty thick piece of cedar bark, and it's already formed some hot embers on it. Not too shabby. I kind of think that blows away a Vaseline soaked cotton ball. Maybe not. But it definitely works better than a plain old cotton ball or any of these other materials I've showed you. It certainly blows away the dome bar or the mag bar. That's pretty much it. I did try homemade charcoal that I made one day. I just, covered up a fire and let it smolder to make a bunch of charcoal. Yeah, okay, well, once again, you know, I get proved wrong every day. I've tried to ignite this charcoal several times, many times actually, and it never would ignite with the ferro rod, but it did put an ember on it. It's probably because I've got a little wind today, and this has been sitting in an airtight container, so maybe that has something to do with it. But just a couple sparks of this put an ember on that piece of charcoal. It could be the variety of wood you used. I used elm and just whatever was available that day. I was just building a fire and decided to make some charcoal with what was left. Some of it was oak, some of it was elm. There was probably some cottonwood mixed in there, but that's working good. Burning nice and slow, kind of like the chaga fungus. I guess it's good to have a few different types of natural tinders and maybe a couple man-made ones too, because, you know, based on the day and the humidity or the wind or whatever, it seems like they behave differently day to day. That's what I've noticed. I guess the char cloth is an exception. I really haven't had a problem getting char cloth to light under any situation. Or chaga. Chaga always lights. I haven't worked with the dogbane cordage enough to see if it will light consistently, but it seems to. That's pretty much it. I'll be using what you're going to see in my kit, if you ever see me, is a couple pieces of chaga, a couple pieces of dogbane cordage. Well, you'll probably see me with a big old bundle of it, because I use it. Maybe a few pieces of charcoal, a few cotton balls possibly. But the one thing you're going to definitely see me with, and really the only thing I need to start fire, period, is birch bark. I'm going to experiment with this a little more, and if it works consistently for me, this is all I'm going to use to start fires. Ferro rod and birch bark, because that ignites to a flame almost every time. You don't have to build a tinder nest or anything. Just get a good spark on it and it lights right up. That's pretty much it though. I just wanted to show those items and show you what I've learned, or what I think I've learned. Seems like nature always proves me wrong from one day to the next. But I'll talk to you later.